The first thing I do every morning is drink half a lemon with warm water. After 7-8 hours of sleep, it's a great way to rehydrate, and hopefully you're getting that much quality sleep too. On top of that, lemon water gives you some vitamin C, which works as an antioxidant. It can freshen up your breath, support digestion, and even help with collagen production. What it doesn't do is burn fat. That's just a myth. After that, I grab a cup of coffee. Now, caffeine actually can boost fat burning a little, and right after I head out for 45 minutes of fasted morning cardio. The only downside to this routine is that about 5 minutes later, the coffee kicks in and I'm sprinting to the bathroom to poop. Whether that's a problem or a benefit, I'll let you decide. This is how it used to look like. This is an old photo of this part of Helsinki. Doesn't look like this anymore. It is usually quiet here, but today it's super busy. People are going to work, apparently. Good morning, everybody. I hope you'll have a great day. I don't know where you are in the world, but here in Finland, I mean, there's a lot of noise. I hope that the microphone's doing a great job of catching my voice, but here in Finland, as you can see from my outfit, the summer's gone, it's cold. I'm doing my fasted cardio. I'm curious to know where you are in the world. Where are you watching this video from, and how's the weather? Is it hot? Is it warm? Can you go out with a t-shirt? Because, well, for the next 10 months, we'll be having cold. I wouldn't say winter, but like very cold weather. You have to dress up before you go out. At least a hoodie. That's a pity. But yeah. I just wanted to give a quick update. I think it's been around 2 months since I started this whole fitness influencer journey, YouTube and social media. And I've set a deadline for myself for about 9 weeks. So until the end of October, by which time I have to get down to 8% body fat. So right now I'm sitting at 12, maybe 11, and I have to get down to 8. And the reason for doing it is that I feel like I've been lazy lately. I should be posting more often on social media, but because I thought that I have a lot of time, I wasn't really under the pressure. I feel like I perform so much better when there's pressure. And I was looking at my finances right now. I'm not even making money. Like I mentioned before, quit the job and I'm living off my savings. So at some point I'm gonna run out of money. And the pressure and the stress has been creeping in, especially at night before I go to bed. So I'm kind of creating this sort of deadline for myself. If I'm not able to achieve this goal, I'll go back to software engineering. Yes, that's the punishment. So much at stakes. But that sort of pressure that kind of pressure makes me fight the hunger, makes me not want to cheat on the diet, makes me say no when I'm invited to go out and party and do stuff, right? It makes me want to put in the work. Thinking about my financials and the fact that I only have like 70 subscribers after about 2 months, you know, it puts some pressure on your shoulders because I'm gonna have to make money from this. I will fight the hunger. This is not something that I will give up. I don't want to give it up. I don't want to go back to like my previous career, software engineering career. I remember here in Finland, well, basically in the winter, when you wake up, it's dark, right? So you wake up, if you have an office job, right, you have to wake up early, you have to show up early, and it's already dark. And then you go out, you spend 7-8 hours indoors, and then by the time you go home, it's dark again. So all you see, it's darkness, very dark days. And I remember what I used to do for like the past 5 years. I mean, one of the mistakes which I did was that I was training very late after work. So basically, I go to work and then come back home, and like 6 p.m. I'm home, and then I would have a nap, like a 30-minute nap, and I would have an alarm. Like I set an alarm to get up at 6:30 p.m. And then when you wake up, and it's like, because when I wake up in the morning, it's dark. It's like completely dark. It's like night. And then I wake up and I read the clock, and it says 18:30. But in my brain, I translate that to like 6:30. So for the first, like, let's say 30 seconds, I'm still thinking that, okay, it's morning. It's time to get up and go to work. And then I realized that, hey, no, it's actually still in the evening, and it's time to go to gym, right? And everything in your body tells you that, no, you don't want to go to gym. But still, I would drink my pre-workout, which was caffeinated, like, I don't know, 200 milligrams of caffeine. And then I go to gym, train super hard, and come back home, cook, eat. And then you want to fall asleep and you can't because of all the caffeine. And then I trained really hard, so I wake up in the middle of the night with like aches, and I'm sweating, and my body's like hot, and my heart rate is like elevated because of the hard training. But then I realized at some point that I have this flexible hours. Like, one good thing about working as a software engineer is that I have the ability to, or the option to, work from home and flexible hours, as long as I get the job done and I show up in all the meetings and report what I do. So I switched to training in the morning for the past, let's say, 1 year, and it was so much better. But then once I quit my job, I had this idea of like continuing to like code and continue basically the software engineer, because I don't want to lose my skills, and I had that as a backup plan. Like, that would be my plan B. But then once you start to diet, because if I'm going to be a fitness influencer, I have to like look pretty like shredded, right? Once you start to diet, the hunger creeps in, and it is so hard to like, because when you're like, you already struggle. You have to convince your brain to sit down in the same place for 7 to 8 hours and just code, right? And then you add hunger on top of that, and that's not going to work. That's not sustainable. I was struggling a lot, like being hungry, and also like forcing myself to train hard, to post content on social media, and to do software engineering work, which is like really heavy. It's like a brain heavy sort of career. I found it sort of like too hard, way too hard. So I decided to like dedicate all my time to content creation, and I haven't been doing a good job. But that's about to change. I'm going to be posting a lot more on social media. I haven't been posting enough. I remember when I started, I was looking for tips, and people are always like, if you're a beginner, you need to provide value to other people. You need to be posting 3 to 6 times per day, short form content on Instagram. and you need to like post 3 times on YouTube. But I've been posting maybe like once per week, which is clearly not enough, and maybe like once per day, and I haven't been consistent with that. Once per day, short form content. But I'm going to bump that up to 3. That's my goal. So for the next 9 weeks, it's hard mode. Yesterday I posted 2 videos. Yesterday, unfortunately, I was supposed to film this on Monday. So my schedule is going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for posting YouTube videos. But I had a lot of pain in my shoulders and upper back because I've been training the upper body so often. There was a lot of like tension. I didn't go to gym. I had the day off and I went to massage. Actually, this camera is heavy. Oh my God, I have to switch hands all the time. So yesterday was like fixing the body and maintenance work. But today my goal is to shoot this YouTube video and shoot this YouTube video and maybe like 2 videos for Instagram. We'll see if I can do that, because editing a YouTube video takes a long time. I have to go through the footage several times. But yeah, fasted cardio. I'm doing fasted cardio every single day now, and it doesn't, from what I've seen in the research, it doesn't really matter when you do the cardio, right? As long as you're in a deficit by the end of the day, you'll lose fat. However, there are small things that you can stack up, right? So coffee, for example, the reason why I drink coffee on an empty stomach fasted is that it kind of promotes the oxidative process. So your body burns more fat. Let's say it's 5%, 10%, and then you go out for a fasted cardio. You haven't had any carbs. So your body has to utilize the fat that you've stored on your body, right? So it's probably like marginal gains, 5%, but when you're trying to go like to the extreme, to like single digit body fat, you have to care about all of these things that normally people shouldn't have to care about. And I've also realized that I don't really have to be, because I've improved my diet over the past couple months by a lot, right? Before like, let's say 2 or 3 months ago, I was hungry all the time because I didn't care. I thought that it doesn't matter when I eat, what I eat, as long as I stay in a deficit and as long as I'm hungry and suffering all the time. But that's not true, because it's not sustainable. So now I care a lot more about the nutrient timing, right? I care a lot more about my training. So if I have my breakfast, which I'm going to show you later, it's not a lot of breakfast. It's, I think, 300 calories. If I have my breakfast and then I go out for the cardio, I return home and I'm already hungry again, right? And I don't have a meal until later at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., which is my pre-workout meal. So I have to like sort of like endure this hunger. And when I'm hungry again, I can't do anything. But for example, I want to get some things done in my free time. And then there's one more trick, which I'll show you later when I get home. I recently discovered that I have it in my position, and I'm so happy that I realized that, because it makes dieting so much easier. So honestly, my arms are like tired of just holding this camera and walking. I want to get home. I have to do a couple things before today's pull session. But I'm excited for today because I want to basically explain like why I chose some of the exercises that I chose for my back training, and also the rear delts, because I've had injuries. I alluded to earlier, my rear delts, the upper back, and I want to share tips with you so that you can use to put together a nice program for yourself as well. One more thing before I end this walkie-talkie is about the cardio. So this is not the only cardio that I do. I also walk to the gym, so that's also a form of cardio. I walk to the gym. It's a mix of public transport and walking. I mean, to be honest, I wish I had a car. It doesn't really make sense to own a car in Finland, especially, and in Europe, kind of. I mean, first of all, the public transport, it is top notch. It's amazing. Secondly, the cars are ultra expensive because of taxes and everything. And you can't park your car anywhere. You have to look for a paid parking spot. You have to really be mindful about these stuff. And then the fuel, the gas is like so expensive. Yeah, so sometimes I think it would be really nice if I had a car, so I don't have to, because, for example, I don't take my meals. I could have a meal right after my workout because I am so hungry after my workout, but because it just makes my backpack and the whole gym bag so heavy, it is really annoying. I still want to walk, I still want to do the cardio. So it just makes it annoying to carry all of that weight. That's why I skip the meal. I try not to take as many stuff with me, because I'll be walking for an hour in total. Plus, I'm doing Stairmaster, 10 minutes of Stairmaster right after my workout. And research shows that you're actually like you actually burn fat when you do cardio right after a resistance training session. So I don't want to miss that window. But the problem is that I'm so hungry. So I'm thinking that if I had a car, it would be just so easy. Like, you drop everything onto your car and then you go to gym and then do like longer cardio, but then you have your meals. You can take anything with you, but maybe at some point I'll get a car. That's my lifelong goal, to own a car. I've never actually owned a car, but which way should we go? Yeah, but maybe that'll change at some point in the future. Who knows? Yeah, but I'm pretty actually close to my home right now. Let's show you the street. I specifically chose the route with the least number of people so that I can talk more comfortably. Yes. See you later. Look at these little guys. Okay, so before I actually talk about this breakfast, I want to show you this mess. I saw a couple construction guys in the corridor. There's apparently going to be some sort of construction for the windows. They're going to change some of the frames, which means I have to take everything here. I have to take all of these stuff and potentially change my desk. It's like this whole area is like super messy because they're going to remove it. So that's a major inconvenience. Bad news, I saw them doing it for my neighbors. So probably I'm next. I should probably like start. Maybe I should do it today, right? I don't know. But let's get to the breakfast. Here, I usually make, I've been making a mud cake for myself recently. But today, because I'm a little bit behind the schedule, I had to go with this super fast breakfast. Here we got 120 grams of mixed berries. I usually go for like a mix of like blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries, but because I have a lot of raspberries and they're kind of going bad, I have to finish them in time. So full in on raspberries today. Actually, raspberries and blueberries are the best berries in terms of like the micronutrients and the benefits. But, they're not the most delicious in my opinion. Strawberries are super delicious, but these are like superior. And then 100 grams of, 30 grams of oats and a scoop of whey. And here's the trick that I wanted to talk about. These are ESN diet support. I bought these pills back in May, and like I tried them and they didn't really work. So I kind of like forgot about them until like a couple days ago. So the thing is, the trick is like you have to care about the timing when you take these pills. For me, the best time is right now with my breakfast because I have another meal in like 2 hours and I don't want to be hungry because I want to get some things done. Maybe like I start like fixing all of this mess here. But I don't want to be hungry. So they keep me like less hungry or like satiated for like 1.5 hours, 2 hours. And then I have my next meal. So that's the trick. And a glass of water. It's important to be hydrated. So that is it. I'll probably see you in the gym. I have a question for you. Do you wear fragrances before you go to gym? I just wanted to quickly show you. Here's my fragrance collection. Now, I don't like all of these. And for example, this little guy right here. The most overrated fragrance of all time. I'm actually trying to sell this, but nobody's buying. Nobody's buying. I don't like this fragrance. Creed Aventus. If you're in Finland, if you're in Helsinki, hit me up. I can sell this to you for a good price. But yeah, I don't like this. But if you want to know, okay, so this is not a fragrance. This is not a fragrance either. But I think for today I'm going with Pacific Chill. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go through all of my fragrances and basically give you my fragrance recommendations for different seasons. I realized that was a terrible idea because this is, oh my god, don't do this. Oh, what did I just do? It's like stupid. Okay. That's it. Amazing for the summertime, but I've realized that it's no longer summer. It's pretty cold outside, but for gym, works. Now, let's talk training. At my current gym, there are tons of fancy back machines, but for years, I didn't have any of these. I stuck to the basics. Barbell rows, dumbbell rows, pull-ups, the OG back builders. Here's my advice. If you train in a machine-heavy gym, don't try to use everything at once. Test them out, then pick one vertical pull and one horizontal pull that feel best for you, and focus on progressing those. For example, I recently switched to this pull-down variation, but after just one session, I felt upper back pain. So I adjusted and stuck with the version that felt right. Same story with rear delts. I used cables for a while, but heavy progressive overload led to discomfort and clicking in my shoulder. That's a red flag. So I swapped them for reverse flies. Always listen to your body. So how should you build a pull day? Keep it simple. 1 or 2 rear delt exercises, 1 or 2 bicep exercises, and 2 back exercises. 1 vertical, 1 horizontal. Here's the key. Stick to the same routine for 8 to 12 weeks. Every session, aim for more weight or more reps. In the beginning, you'll progress quickly because you're learning the movement. But after about a month, you'll hit a wall That's when you need to push harder, break through, and force your body to adapt and grow. Yes, it can feel boring, but this is the best way to get stronger and build real muscle naturally. No secret shortcuts, no special juice behind the scenes, just consistency, patience, and progression. That's it for today's tip. Stick to your plan and trust the process.
Mata.